Hello, good evening. How we doing? Let me turn that off and put that on. Can we hear that? Hope we can hear that. How's things? How's your weekend going? Saturday. I went and bought a control stick. Maybe shouldn't have, but it's only Thrustmaster. It's like £80. So it's the it's actually the flight simulator one from Thrustmaster. So it's the throttle controls and the stick and all the extra buttons and all that malarkey going on. So I actually tried it today, and God, the difference it makes. I've got the Xbox controller, console controller, and it works. Obviously with that and the keyboard, but just having a flight stick and a throttle, the plane is so much easier to use. I also tried the helicopter as well. That wasn't too bad. Spent about an hour and a half kind of configuring the keys. I don't think all the controls, I don't think I've got all of them at the minute. We've got the kind of main ones set up. Put a couple of videos on my TikTok and some stuff on Discord. Kind of collating some stuff on my Discord as well. All the useful bits of pieces that I'm kind of using, I'm sure other people will find it handy. So feel free to join up that, and also see the TikTok videos and stuff as well. TikTok I've tried over the years, a couple of years. I kind of had that account to try and do stuff with it, but I have the intentions, but I just lose track of time and just kind of get pushed to the wayside. But hopefully start using that a little bit more. So yeah, there's plenty of places to catch me on that. Now I'm not sure whether to continue and try and get this helicopter one done again, or go back to the old aeroplanes. Not 100%. Also, while that's loading, I apologise if you sniff. I feel like I'm getting a cold. The weather here has been very, very changeable, but very, very, very cold as well. It's starting to warm up now at 6 degrees. It's like -4 last night. We just had Storm Bert roll through today. Very, very windy, very, very wet. So usually when the weather's like that, I tend to pick up a chill or a cold. So yeah, apologise if I kind of sniff or whatever, but I'll try not to. I just want to go to settings actually, because I think I turned some stuff off that I don't think I really want to turn off at this stage. I think it was the cockpit interaction system. Just do that. I'll see how that goes. I think we still need those on. So could try and get a commercial pilot's license. Trim management. Okay, actually let's do this. Let's do this while we're kind of here. So, airspeed, attitude, altimeter, vertical speed, heading. Okay, all right. Let's give it a shout in chat if it's too quiet, too loud. God, I feel like I'm getting a chill now. It's cold. Usually area where my computer is warms up because I've got 3 monitors and a big base unit pumping out warm air, so Usually when I start playing a game, it starts to put a little more stress on the computer, so it starts to warm up. Saves putting the heating on. Now, also need to try and remember my controls. I think I remember most of them. I've got trim on the side of my throttle control. Got a few buttons there. If you look at my Twitter, I posted a picture of the flight stick and stuff, so if you want to know what it is. Thing is, it's white. I don't know why Thrustmaster and Flight Sim decided on making a white special edition control stick, but it is white. Not my favourite colour, but it's not too bad. It's white and black with a little bit of blue on it. Right.
In this lesson, let's take a look at the relationship between attitudes and power settings.
Attitudes.
Attitude plus power equals performance. We're currently at 5,500 feet in a cruise attitude. The aircraft's nose is positioned under the horizon, and cruise power is at 2,300 RPM.
Okay.
Try to reduce power to 2,000 RPM while maintaining 5,500 feet.
2,000 RPM. Whilst maintaining...
Go ahead. You probably noticed, to maintain altitude, you need to pitch the nose up. You could just keep pulling on the yoke to hold steady, but that's not really a precise means of control. Probably better to adjust your trim wheel until you don't need to push or pull on the yoke. Drag the trim down when you need to set the nose up. Drag it up to set the nose down.
What? Okay.
Try adding trim to keep us at 5,500 feet without increasing throttle.
Is there a trim indicator on the... Where's the trim indicator?
Trim the aircraft to maintain 5,500 feet.
What's the trim indicator on the screen? I took the things off.
Try it out. Trim the aircraft to maintain 5,500 feet. You put your plane in a dangerous situation.
I don't know if that... Alright, 1 second.
You probably noticed, to maintain...
1 minute. Flight... Which one is it? Flight interface. HUD in cockpit view. I'm going to put that back on for now until I get used to...
Altitude, you need to pitch the nose up. You could just keep pulling on the yoke to hold steady, but that's not really a precise means of control. Probably better to adjust your trim wheel until you don't need to push or pull on the yoke. Drag the trim down when you need to set the nose up. Drag it up to set the nose down. Try adding trim to keep us at 5,500 feet without increasing throttle.
How much trim we need?
Try it out. Trim the aircraft to maintain 5,500 feet. Keep working on it, you'll get better. You're too high now.
Yes.
You're too high now.
5,500. Coming down.
You're too high now. Increase power to 2,300 RPM while maintaining 5,500 feet. Get us back to a cruise attitude.
Holy.
Excellent. Now, adjust the trim.
It's actually very difficult doing a trim. I don't know what's meant to be. Is that 18?
Keep working on it. You'll get better. Additional practice will help, don't worry. The way I was taught, when you adjust the trim, you make course changes at first to remove pressure on the yoke. Then small adjustments to find the perfect setting to keep your desired attitude. If you feel your pitch slipping and need to get back to the proper attitude, don't worry. Just pull on the yoke, then dial in the right trim. That's the key to straight and level flight.
It's not the right trim, but... Okay. Could do with a trim wheel, rather than... because I use 2 buttons. But it's fine, it's just getting used to it. So I think it was, what, 15% trim? Camera's gone blue. Some problem with the big monitor. Turns everything blue, or whatever colour the main colour is. Yeah, the trim was a bit whack. Right. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, hopefully fix that bug. I'm sure it's been reported. Sorry, give me when a moment to where are we? Got telephone. 1 minute, I'll be right back. Right, sorry about that. What we got going on here?
Today we are going to leave our familiar airport of Sedona and venture south to reach Flagstaff Airport.
Okay.
To guide us, we will rely on the navlog.
I hate this. I hate these.
It references the different legs to complete to reach our final destination.
13 minutes.
Our first goal is to fly over the runway center at 6,500 feet with a heading of 42 degrees. By doing so, we will be perfectly set up to engage with the first leg of the navlog.
42 degrees? What?
After takeoff, we will continue crosswind as if we were following the standard traffic pattern. However, we won't turn downwind. Instead, we will continue climbing to 6,500 feet before turning on course toward the runway
Why is even
center.
any of this on here?
Okay, you can take off whenever you are ready.
Where is it? Why is there no sound inside the damn aeroplane? Move that. Sounds like there's zero sound from coming from inside the plane. Which shouldn't be correct. What's that? Settings, audio. It's all turned up to 100% though, that's the thing. It's like... very weird. Spatial sound output. Okay, interesting. Right. Okay. It's got handbrake on. Handbrake? Do you have a handbrake in aeroplanes? We got everything on that we need on. Get rid of this. Got all them on. On, taxi, on, off. Why is the fuel pump to off? Surely you need the fuel pump on. That's okay. Let me open the window for a second. Actually hear something now. Right. Now hopefully, you got all the directions where you need to go. So much easier having the twist, the tail. Up we go.
Nice command during takeoff. Your target altitude is 6,500 feet. That's 500 feet above the traffic pattern, as we don't want to interfere with incoming aircraft.
Ooh. Steady on.
Maintain 75 knots.
I'll maintain 75 knots. Reach 5,700 feet first.
Maintain 75 knots.
Right, well, trying to.
As you climb, turn left so you stay in the vicinity of the airport. Maintain 75 knots.
How can you maintain 75 knots if you need to reach an altitude of 6,500?
Maintain 75 knots.
Sharp. And can't maintain 75 knots, so I'll never reach 6,500 feet.
Too long to reach the target altitude. You want to climb faster to reach a safe altitude. To ensure accurate navigation, you want an accurate starting point. And what's more accurate than the runway you just departed from? Go ahead and position your plane above the airport.
Take a 42-degree heading. What's only 42-degree heading? That's 15-degree. .42 degrees over here.
Nice. That's it for navigation departure. Well done.
Holy, it's tricky. I don't want to get stuck on that blue screen, making my face blue on the monitor. It's not that I can do. That's better. Dead Reckoning. Navigate using heading and time messer. Who flies like that? Munns Park Golf Course. 8,000 feet. 5 minutes.
We're currently at 6,500 feet, about 30 seconds flight time to Sedona Airport. As we make our way toward the runway center, let's talk more about navigation. When you need to set and maintain a heading, you'll want to rely on your heading indicator. Compasses are prone to errors, especially during turns or while accelerating or decelerating.
Okay.
Okay. We're in position over the runway center. Next step is to validate the time. That's a fancy way of saying start your stopwatch.
Where is it?
On the navlog, you can see our next waypoint, Munns Park, is at a 42-degree heading, about 5 minutes away. That means we need to be on a 42-degree heading. Check your heading indicator and make your turn. Good. Maintain a 42-degree heading.
Yo, 40. Oh god.
As you approach Munns Park, the terrain level rises. To maintain a safe altitude, we'd better climb to 8,000 feet. Make sure you keep the same heading. Maintain full power during your climb.
$8,000. Take its ages to get up there. Oh god. It's so easy to drift.
Stall. Stall.
There's no power in this thing at all.
Navigation is basically flying a given heading for a given amount of time. Sometimes you deviate. But if you track the time flown from your last known position, you'll always have at least a range for your current position.
God. So much easier with autopilot. Does this thing even go up to 8,000 feet?
Stall. 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 Stall.
My god. Why is it asking me to go up to 8,000 feet? It doesn't even get that high.
Stall.
These aren't designed for
Stall. 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 Stall.
Why is it even asking me to go that high? Clearly it just can't go that high.
Stall. 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 Stall.
Got max throttle, max fuel mixture.
Okay, now get back to cruise attitude. Let the speed increase, then set cruise power at 2,300 RPM.
Is it 2,300? Some with trim.
Do you see the green patch with a lake on its right? This is Munns Park Golf Club. We're almost there. Let's proceed over it and check if the stopwatch matches the navlog estimation. We all know speed can increase or decrease depending on the wind. That's why at your next waypoint, you'll want to compare your estimated time and route with the actual time flown. Validate your estimate and your progress.
It's a tablet. Did you bring the tablet up again? What's here?
Well done, but there's room for improvement. Navigation to Munns Park.
Why did it
is
say
in the
maintain
books.
8,000 feet? Oh, I've gone over it. It's very, it's understanding the plane because trying to get 8,000 feet, that's like, I'll need 2,000 feet or 1,500 feet. And it's got no power. See, that's why it's going stall, stall. Not doing too great. Need something a bit more power. I wish they fixed the sky in this damn game though. Just put loads of speckles in some black. It looks terrible.
All right, we're currently at 8,000 feet, approximately 30 seconds out from Munns Park Golf Club. While we fly over it, let's talk about landmark navigation. One of the easier methods of navigation involves following identifiable landmarks, like highways. And it just so happens we have one below us. Do you see the highway on your left? That highway leads all the way to Flagstaff.
Okay.
Let's follow it, and we should reach Flagstaff Airport in 6 to 7 minutes.
$20 bank angle. Maintain 8,000
To make
feet.
sure we don't miss it, reset your stopwatch here and start again.
Really?
Flagstaff Airport's altitude is around 7,000 feet. Unlike in Sedona, the traffic pattern altitude there is standard. This means its altitude is 1,000 feet above the airport, which works out to 8,000 feet.
What? Lost me there.
We need to fly over the airport before entering the traffic pattern. Since we don't want to interfere with other aircraft already in the traffic pattern, let's fly at least 500 feet above pattern altitude.
1,500.
So let's climb to 8,500 feet on the way. Keep it at full power while you're climbing.
Need a bigger monitor fit all this stuff on.
Perfect. Maintain 8,500 feet until we reach the airport. Set RPM at 2,300.
So in 85s. Spacebar used to be set up so you could see up above the dash, but we're waiting for. It's not easy getting the trim right. Oh, there it is. There it is in front of us.
Correct your heading to the right. There it is, Flagstaff Airport, on the right side of the highway. Excellent landmark navigation.
Wonderful. I think some of these career ones are quite long. You can't use autopilot.
Flagstaff Airport is right in front of us, and we're currently at 8,500 feet. That's 500 feet above the standard traffic pattern. It's a good altitude to avoid interfering with aircraft already in the pattern. Proceed above the terrain, making sure you maintain our current altitude.
Okay. Go. I just wish the inside was a little bit louder. Should be hearing more engine noise even with a headset on.
We're going to land on runway 21, coming from the right to the left. We'll be following a left-hand traffic pattern, as we did in Sedona. Ready? Reduce speed to 80 knots and start a turn to the left toward a 120-degree heading.
From 20-degree heading. Coming around.
As we pass over the runway again, start descending to 8,000 feet, still maintaining 80 knots. You'll enter the pattern in the middle of the downwind leg for runway 21.
Middle of downwind at 21.
We've got clearance to enter the downwind leg and land on runway 21. Keep your attitude, then follow the standard pattern. Extend 10 degrees of flaps. Complete the traffic pattern until landing, as you learned previously.
So quiet. I'm not getting more speed either. Maintain 65 knots. Basically got no power.
500.
You can't maintain 65 knots when you're descending. That's just ridiculous.
Good integration, but something tells me you can do even better.
What? Come on. I think the brakes I've got... Oh, I've got brakes on the thumb. I've got 3 buttons, well, 3 buttons at the top. Damn, that's bad. It's still got a B though. Excuse me. It'll be time for my Flagstaff, Pelham Airport, handling. Every navigation should stop on your way back to Sedona. Okay. So low, so low. Oh hell. This is just saw an articulated lorry drop through the planet.
Are you ready for this? You're going solo on a full VFR flight.
No.
From takeoff to touchdown, it's all you. You'll be departing Flagstaff Pulliam Airport, handling every navigational step on your way to Sedona. It's the return trip from your previous lessons. You'll be flying over the same landmarks. You remember them? The highway, Munns Park Golf Club. Choose whatever you're confident with. Dead reckoning, landmark navigation, or both. This is what you've trained for. Just remember everything you've learned, and most of all, enjoy the ride.
Okay. Well, this is... I don't know where to put this. It's in the way. Is it in the way? What's over here? Got to stay there. Not there. So I'll check something settings. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Assistances. Oh. Okay. 10 flaps. Don't need flaps to take off. Oops. I'm going to open the window. I can actually hear some noise. It's too quiet. Take off runway 3. 30, 40, 50, 55. Up we go. 8,500. Back to the basics. How you doing? Doing the career mode. I purchased myself a cheap but cheerful Thrustmaster as well, so I'm trying to get used to that and the controls. Where's the highway? It's over here. How you doing anyway? Have you got 2024? I would say yes. I would assume yes. Maybe not playing it though, due to the many issues. Although I think it has been getting better, hasn't it? Sigma 2020 to the start of the year. Hopefully the bugs will be solved back here. Well, the majority of them will be. I think there'll always be bugs though, but yeah, it makes sense, especially with the type of flying that you do. Do the trim. Oh, it's negative trim. About 12% is. It's at the highway there. So hard setting the trim. Trying to get it to the right amount. I'm in the air right now. I have no idea where that is. ORD to SLC. No idea. I'm sure it's not in a Cessna though. There's a highway for Flagstaff. Chicago to Salt Lake. A3, yeah, I like the Phoenix is nice. I love autopilot so much. Not sure I've got a dead zone in the stick. This will drop in. Don't know where this flipping golf course is. Oh, it's there. Can land so much easier though when you've got a control stick, flight stick. Looks so good as well. It runs really smooth. Helicopter flying is quite fun. And that is a lot easier with a stick. 20-degree bank angle. Is that there? I think that's the airport there, isn't it? Just kind of see it glistening in the middle distance. Out the windy. You'll fly a helicopter through those valleys. So let's go right over the middle. It's quite a good place to have a runway on top of a mountain. What's this turning? It's gonna get me all confused. Runway's not loaded in properly. Was it? Did I have... Hmm. To actually have to hit that center point. Just do a loop around. Come on. Let's... Usually gives you a little bit of a leeway for hitting these waypoints, but didn't give me anything this time. That's right over the middle now. Come on. Position aircraft above runway center. What does that mean? Why is it not? Let me do anything. Why is it not triggering? Don't understand. to settings. Assistance. I don't think it lets me change anything with it. That's where you want to see text off all about points of interest during free pins. Display levels for all on-screen POIs. Don't know what it's asking for. Do I need to restart this? Ugh, such a long thing as well. That is runway center. Why is it not triggering it? That's what we did before. I don't understand. I'm completely dumb, obviously. I need to restart. So annoying. I did what it asked me to do.
Are you ready for this? You are going solo on a full VFR flight. From takeoff.
Settings. Yeah, so I can't change these because I think the bloody thing started. Controls. General. Trying to find, there's a visual thing. I can't remember where it was. Flight model. Camera. It's online stuff. Display active waypoint. Go and flight. Abort. I think because it's in there, it won't let you change it. I think it's just better to have the gates on, to be honest. Don't like flying with the gates because it feels a little bit cheaty, but it is what it is. HUD and external view. Pilot and controls. Display active waypoint. It's not this one. L2D cursor on all peripherals. Shows white. Where's that gone? Language online, camera. Flight model. Can't remember what it was called now. Display visual assistance on and off. Toggle visual assistance's display. Let's try that again. Load, load, load.
Are you ready for this? You're going solo on a full VFR flight. From takeoff to touchdown, it's all you. You'll be departing Flagstaff Pulliam Airport, handling every navigational step on your way to Sedona.
Okay.
It's the return trip from your previous lessons. You'll be flying over the same landmarks. You remember them? The
No.
highway, Munns Park Golf Club. Choose whatever you're confident with. Dead reckoning, landmark navigation, or both. This is what you've trained for. Just remember everything you've learned, and most of all, enjoy the ride.
So if I press escape, let's show the map. Doesn't show the map. See briefing. 8.5, fly over runway to start navigation. Follow the traffic pattern and keep speed. Descend to 6,000 feet. Once you've reached your destination, fly over Sedona Airport at 6,500. So I need to be 6,500 at the runway. It told me to be 8.5. Right. Reset. Get my window open. That noise. Off center. 50. 55. Be 164 degrees. Shot where you stall.
Stall.
8,500. 64 degrees. Sod off with your stall. Can he go any quicker? It's a little bit annoying, even though you move those, it always defaults back to the same place. 222 degrees. It's going to be 6,500 on approach over the center. I'll stay there. Got you trimmed as much as I can. I don't think I can go another one. It's okay. Golf course over there again. Glad we can get this one done out of the way. Razo's going that high. Yeah, the trim isn't perfect for holding it, to be honest. Maybe it's just these little... Unless it's my dead zones on my stick need resetting or something, I don't know. Up to the 8,500 again. We make the turn. So we go down to 6,500. Even though it says maintain 8,500. Come on. Going down. Not super fast, but we need 222 degrees. Six and a half thousand feet. Slow it down. Yeah, this streaming thing, it's going to get a little bit annoying when runways don't load in properly. Six and a half. $21. Three. It's not worked again. What, is it too low? I just can't. I don't know what it's looking for. I've done 8,500. Read the brief and it said 6,500.
Stall. 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 Stall.
Was it because I wasn't exactly 6.5 or something? Go to briefing. Once you reach your destination, fly over to Sedona Airport at 6,500 feet. Descend to 6,000, fly downwind. Runway 21. I don't know what it's asking for. 6,500. So try it again at 6,500. Six and a half thousand feet. Didn't trigger anything. What is it with this? Try it from the other direction. Oh, come on. What is it? I'll just land. Mission steps don't work. Turn in a minute. Too high. Far too high.
Five hundred.
Yeah.
You weren't really supposed to land there.
$8,500. Freaking ridiculous. What? So confused. Start stopwatch. Dope. Doesn't sound good. Is it? Crashed? Oh boy. That's crashed. Why did that crash?
Raiders detected. Welcome and
Just
enjoy
some
your
other
stay.
guy. Just some other guy. Thank you much for the raid. Welcome, welcome. And the sim just crashed for some reason. It's probably an omen because the flipping lesson I was doing was glitchy as hell. Wasn't working. But I hope you had a good stream anyway. Thank you very much. We should try and load back in, but it takes about 5 hours to load. Might just do some challenges or something for a little bit. It's frustrating. Yeah, I tried yesterday on the controller, and then I went out today and bought a Thrustmaster flight stick and throttle thing. It's only like £80. So I'm using that for the first time today. It makes it so much easier. It's just a game. Just the game's letting it down. It's like you have the Hotas one. Yeah, that's what I've got. I think it is. Yeah, T.Flight Hotas 1. I've got the only one they had was the white Flight Sim Special Edition one. So yeah, works quite well actually. I'm not sure if I got the settings right in game. The dead zones and stuff, I'm not sure if they've been set correctly. But no, it's a comfortable stick. The throttle's a bit weird. I'm not sure why it's got the... It's kind of the notch in the middle. It's like halfway. You need to map the controls so you're losing throttle when flying helis. Yeah. Kind of spent about 40 minutes kind of doing the controls. 40 minutes to an hour. I think I've got main ones done. So yeah, I use the throttle obviously for the cyclic to go up and down. And obviously then just map the axes to go backwards and forwards. I might jump into the heli one just now actually. I was doing it yesterday, but it kept failing. I kept failing it last night. I was kind of more interested in trying to do the helis actually, because it's just something different. Not many people do helis in 2000. Streamer wise anyway. But put a little clip on my TikTok. I was kind of messing around for the first time with it and doing some low level flying. It's quite good fun actually. Had to put the Ride of the Valkyries from Apocalypse Now on it. Use the Honeycomb Bravo for power management and Hotas for control. Yeah, I'm more of a sim racer, so I've got a sim rig with the wheel and pedals and stuff. Only have a small area for my desk because of that, so I don't have a lot of desk space. So yeah, this Thrustmaster fits pretty well in the middle. So I've got the throttle and that attached to each other, so it doesn't take up too much desk space. I've got my keyboard and that below. Right, so go back to career. We'll try the helis. Right. Certification. Certification. Commercial pilot license on Rotocraft. Yeah, I did this about 3 times last night and just kept failing for stupid reasons. I don't know why. They really rushed this, unfortunately. Okay. Try and get through this bad boy. Don't think I've ever used a helicopter with a Hotas before. Excuse me. So it's just been a controller, you know, console controller thing. Or back in my younger days, just a standard joystick with 2 buttons. So have you done all the career stuff? Not all of it, but you're working your way through. I'm not sure what level I am. I think I'm like level 3.5 or something. That's a final lesson to do my CPL. But yeah, did it twice and just wasn't registering flying over the middle of the runway. Kimoon. The only problem with Microsoft downloading everything is that if their servers go down, you can't actually play the game. So I know they've got probably a 99.9% uptime, but usually when servers go down, they go down for a long time. So I don't know. Is this working? It's taking a very long time to load. Oh, there we are.
Welcome to the beginning of your rotorcraft journey and our first helicopter lesson. My name is Paul Martin, and I will be your flight instructor. I must say, it is a very beautiful time of the year to begin your helicopter training.
Don't need to say all that.
Aerodrome.
Can't even say it properly.
Meet our trainer helicopter, Cabri G2. You already know how the flight control surfaces of airplanes work, right? But do you understand how a helicopter turns without ailerons and speeds up without elevator? Here, look at the Cabri's main rotor. This is our main control surface. By tilting the main rotor disc forward, backward, left, or right, we can change the direction of the thrust vector and move the helicopter in a chosen direction. As with most French-designed helicopters, the main rotor blades advance in a clockwise direction. What do you think we need the tail rotor for? Walk closer and look at it.
Turning
By
around.
changing the tail rotor's thrust, we can control the direction that the nose of the helicopter points. The Cabri G2 utilizes a fenestrine-type tail rotor. It differs from a conventional open-tail rotor by being integrally housed within the tail boom. Now let's continue our training inside the cockpit. Get in and buckle up.
I'm scared. Where's the white dot? Where's the white dot gone? Show the white dot. Free look. Why is there no white dot? Oh, there's a hand. That's what I was looking for.
Welcome aboard. Don't be surprised that you're sitting on the right side. Unlike in airplanes, pilots typically sit on the right seat in helicopters. Now, let's make you familiar with the Cabri's flight controls. Look here, this is what we call the collective lever, or simply collective.
Okay.
We use collective to climb or descend, or in other words, to control our vertical speed. Here's what we call the cyclic stick, or just cyclic. It looks similar to the airplane's stick, doesn't it? It behaves very similarly too, at least in a forward flight. Left or right inputs cause the helicopter to roll into a turn, and forward and back inputs change the pitch attitude. On the top of the cyclic stick, you can see a cyclic trim knob. The Cabri uses a dual-axis electric trim, allows you to completely release the static forces in flight, both longitudinal and lateral. And finally, the anti-torque pedals, located in the same place as the rudder pedals in an airplane. They serve a similar purpose, controlling the direction that the nose of the aircraft points. In a hover flight, they help you to control yaw and heading, but in forward flight, they serve the same purpose as in airplanes, adjusting the side slip angle. Sounds pretty easy so far, isn't it? Let's have a look at the instrument panel. I'm sure you have already spotted what we call the six-pack. 6 primary instruments all airplanes also have. Look at the altimeter, for instance. As you see, the ground elevation here is around 720 feet. An interesting fact related to altitudes. In forward flight, a helicopter can fly much higher than when it's hovering. After our hovering training, you will understand why it's like that. Now look at the airspeed indicator. What can we learn just by looking at it? You can see right away that the indications start from 20 knots. The caution range lasts up to 45 knots, and you should never exceed 130 knots airspeed. Why should we be cautious when flying slow? I will show why in our next training. Now, would you please look at the vertical speed indicator?
Nope.
It is very important to monitor VSI, especially on descent. If you descend faster than 300 feet per minute at low airspeed, you may settle your helicopter into its own downwash. This is called a vortex ring state, and it is an emergency situation you will eventually learn to deal with. But for now, simply get used to monitoring your VSI, just like you monitor altitude, airspeed, and engine parameters. Another thing to remember while flying is to keep the fuselage in the correct streamline position.
Keep the fuselage, okay.
For that, we monitor the turn coordinator ball, just like we do in airplanes. Or the more sensitive indicator, the yaw string, just like we do in gliders. The ball and the yaw string should be kept in the center. We won't use other classic instruments much in our trainings, because we will mostly fly by visual references. However, you do need to know about the EPM, which stands for Electronic Pilot Monitor. Let's start the engine and avionics to see it running.
See, this is a bit, it kept breaking. Auto start engine. How'd you... Auto start engine? How? What's auto start engine? What's the key binders for auto start engine? Settings. Controls. Control and E. So why is that not showing up on I don't think it's bound for some reason. Settings, controls, keyboard. Oops. Auto. Start engine. Okay. This is where it failed. I did this 3 times and it failed
Now
me.
you see the electronic pilot monitor running. EPM combines all common motor and rotor monitoring instruments on a single LCD screen, as well as the in-flight fuel management. The thing we're most interested in is the smart power indicator. Have a closer look at it. It is called the MLI, which stands for Multiple Limit Indicator. It is a special feature of the Cabri G2. A red line shows the available performance and limits at a glance. We will refer to the power indications a lot in our trainings. Okay, enough talking. Time to get up in the air and fly. In our next training, you will have your first taste of piloting a Cabri G2.
We passed. Finished it. I was on this for like 45 minutes last night. It's like, oh my god. Doesn't matter what I did. It made a 0 difference. And I could never get past it. It says, we have more lessons to take on the ground before you take them. Oh, whatever. We got past it though. Basic maneuvers.
Here we are, flying along the Grezavon Valley in the French Alps. Look around while I am piloting. On your left-hand side, you can see the Belladon mountain range. And on your right-hand side, there are the Chartreuse Mountains.
Oh my god.
Beautiful, aren't they?
It's very weird the way they've done.
On the count of 3, I will give you control of the helicopter. Prepare to slightly push cyclic forward to maintain the correct attitude.
Hang on, does that swap
3,
me over?
2, 1. It's yours now.
Okay. What am I doing?
Using the cyclic, keep the helicopter in a straight and level flight along the Isar River you can see below. I will take care of the collective control and maintaining the altitude, so you can focus on our speed and ground track.
Okay.
Reach cruise speed of 80 knots. Push the cyclic to speed up, or pull the cyclic to slow down.
What's the speed? What's the speed again? Speed is... Reach 80 knots. Needs to slow down.
Now try to maintain 80 knots through all maneuvers. To maintain the same speed, try to remember the position of the horizon line and maintain it visually in the same place. That will make sure you are flying with the same speed. Keep flying straight until the river begins curving to the right.
It's harder than it looks.
See how you always need to keep the cyclic deflected to maintain the same attitude? After you've found a proper cyclic position, Use the cyclic's trim to release static forces.
What? Have I got trim? Those up. I don't think I've bound trim. Don't think I've bound to trim. Settings. Controls. T.Flight Hotas. Trim. I've done it. Trim longitudinally.
Here we are. Let's try some turns now.
So
See the river
weird.
is turning right? Try to fly above the river and turn right together with its curve.
Go. Bit much. This is... Mission steps are completely wacky. I don't... Isn't it?
Now make a sharp left turn following the river line. But this time try to make the turn coordinated. Don't forget to use pedals to avoid any slip and skid, just like in airplanes. Now you see how little pressure on the controls you need to control a helicopter. Let's do something you never do in airplanes. Let's bring our airspeed to 0 knots. Gently pull the cyclic back until you reach 0 knots.
Yep.
This is called hovering out of ground effect. Feels interesting for airplane pilots,
Oh.
doesn't it? Keep the cyclic back to maintain 0 knots airspeed. Now try to use your trim to move the neutral position of your cyclic. You can trim the helicopter when you hover, when you climb, or when you are in cruise. This releases the forces on the stick and lets you better feel the controls.
Oh. What's going on here? Reset cyclic trim. Rotor trim reset.
This is called hovering out of ground effect. Feels interesting for airplane pilots, doesn't it?
Oh,
Now
I
try to use your trim
just pressed a
to move
button.
the neutral position of your cyclic. You can trim the helicopter when you hover, when you climb.
Oh god,
when you are in
I pressed
cruise.
something on my
This releases the
controller
forces on the stick
and it's
lets
done
you
something
better feel the
weird.
controls.
Rotor trim reset. Alright, 1 second. Settings. Controls. Trim. God, I feel like sneeze. Come on. So rotor trim reset. Do that one. Save. Okay. I'll just do a loop the loop. What the frick? I don't think I was meant to do that. Why is it making me do a freaking barrel roll?
This is called hovering out of ground effect. Feels interesting for airplane pilots, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now try to use your trim to move the neutral position of your cyclic. You can trim the helicopter when you hover, when you climb.
I don't know what it's doing.
Crashing wasn't in our plans for the training. Let's start over again. Let's do something you never do in airplanes.
Not touching it.
Let's bring our airspeed to 0 knots. Gently pull the cyclic back until you reach 0 knots. Crashing wasn't in our plans for the training.
Settings. God. Controls. All over the place, I think. Flight control surfaces. Primary. Tail rotor. Rudder. Center rudder. Trim. BA. Trim. Reset. Oops.
Let's start over again. Let's do something you never do in airplanes. Let's bring our airspeed to 0 knots. Gently pull the cyclic back until you reach 0 knots. Keep the cyclic back to maintain 0 knots airspeed.
Trying to see if I get the trim to work, but I don't know. Is it, where's the trim indicator? Is there a trim? There must be a trim indicator visual. What's it want me to do? What's it wanting me to do? But you can't get any more hovering than that. That's like perfect. It's not doing anything. Is it because I'm in the wrong place or something? So did you get this far? Then it just doesn't do anything else. I don't know what else. Just restart it once.
Here we are, flying along the Grezavon Valley in the French Alps.
Visual trim. Where's the visual trim? There must be a visual trim somewhere.
Side, you can see the Belladon mountain range. And on your right-hand side, there are the Chartreuse Mountains.
Turn. There's no visual. I'm really surprised there's no visual trim. There is a trim there. It's 42%. There's nothing on the.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Right.
On the count of 3, I will give you control of the helicopter. Prepare to slightly push cyclic forward to maintain the correct attitude. 3, 2, 1. It's yours now.
It's yours now.
Using the cyclic, keep the helicopter in a straight and level flight along the Iser River you can see below. I will take care of the collective control and maintaining the altitude, so you can focus on our speed and ground track. Reach cruise speed of 80 knots. Push the cyclic to speed up, or pull the cyclic to slow down. Now try to maintain 80 knots through all maneuvers. To maintain the same speed, try to remember the position of the horizon line and maintain it visually in the same place. That will make sure you're flying with the same speed.
Need to get my Tobii eye tracker to work.
Keep flying straight until the river begins curving to the right. See how you always need to keep the cyclic deflected to maintain the same attitude? After you've found a proper cyclic position, use the cyclic's trim to release static forces.
Danger, danger! Right, that's not the right trim for starters. That is.
Stop! I don't like this game!
that's quite apt, isn't it? That one. But that's not the right app. That's not the right trim keys.
Thank you for following.
Captain Andy B, thank you much for the follow. Right, what do we need for trim for this? Because they're not adjusting the trim. They're not adjusting the trim. Set trim. What are the trim? Right, set. Which trim is it? Because it's not these two. They do nothing. They do nothing, apparently. But it says on the tip thing to do that one. Helicopters. Save that again. That trim figure's not moving at the bottom there. Third one, that's not, that percentage is not moving. Reset did. So the reset worked. Settings. Controls. Trim. Let's try them. What if they're like sinking? Gonna die. What is the trim? Anyone knows what the trim buttons are? Anyone? Because nothing's working at the minute for trim. Adjusting the trim, that is. The reset trim works. But adjusting the trim doesn't. Oh, excuse me. Just think you're getting a cold. You have no power. Need more power. Elevator trim nose up and down. That should be better. Back. Why have I got no power? Power's still on.
Crashing wasn't in our plans for the training. Let's start over again. Here we are, flying along the Grezavon Valley in the French Alps. Look around while I am piloting. On your left-hand side, you can see the Belladon mountain range.
Nice.
And on your right-hand side,
Very
there are
good.
the Chartreuse
Yes.
Mountains.
Lovely.
Beautiful, aren't they?
Wonderful.
On the count of 3, I will give you control of the helicopter. Prepare to
I've
slightly
already got
push
control
cyclic
there.
forward to maintain the correct attitude.
Helicopter.
3, 2, 1. It's yours now.
God, he sounds so
Using
excited.
the cyclic, keep the helicopter in a straight and level flight along the Iser River you can see below. I will take care of the collective control and maintaining the altitude, so you can focus on our speed and ground track. Reach cruise speed of 80 knots. Push the cyclic to speed up, or pull the cyclic to slow down.
But I have no trim.
Now try to maintain 80 knots through all maneuvers.
It's so annoying because the trim
Maintain the
reset
same
works.
speed. Try to remember the position of the horizon line and
What is the damn trim up and down? Which one's saying? You're getting further than you. I'm not getting much further. I need to get this trim to work. Trim. Trim.
Fuck.
What can you say? What more can you say to that? Rudder trim. It's not rudder, is it? What trim is it we need to be adjusting? Aileron trim? Oh my god, what's all this stuff? Longitudinal. Decrease rotor. Is it that trim? Rotor trim reset. Quick trim. Get rid of that. What's that? Decrease roll. It's a horizontal trim. Which trim is it? Catch you later. Thanks for the raid. Very much appreciate it. I'll trim decrease, trim increase, trim. Maybe it's that one. Trim decrease. What? What? No. Just let me have this one. Why am I having to create a new one when... Oh my god, I'm so confused. This is mine. Why am I now having to create a second customized one when this is already customized? This Highline UK T.Flight Hotas has already been... Oh... No. Flight... Helicopter controls. Do I need to copy one for helicopters? Helicopters have lots of trims. The one in the bottom bar is a rotary trim. The nose up and down is not the one in the bar, so you can't see it working. Right. So if I... So it's a rotary trim. So... Is it the lateral trim? Need to increase, decrease. Nose up and down that they want is the training was the one you had in the... But the buttons weren't doing anything. Which one was it? This one here, isn't it? Nose down. Nose up.
Tainted visually in the same place. That will make sure you're flying with the same speed.
Maybe it won't let me do it until I need to get to that point, maybe.
Keep flying straight until the river begins curving to the right.
Definitely a Toby eye tracker in a helicopter. As it dips down, you lift your head up.
Found a proper cyclic position. Use the cyclic's trim to release static forces.
Elevator trim up. Nose up. See, it's not... Elevator trim up. Elevator trim down. Elevator trim up and down is A and B. Let's try different buttons, maybe. Oh, excuse me. Ready those. So I think we're starting to get a cold, I think. No, that was me. That was me moving the stick. Go back. Save. Can you see that percentage down there? That trim must be for that trim. Otherwise, what's that trim percentage on there for? There's physically nowhere for me to see what trim setting I've got. That's rotary trim, which is different. So where on here do I see what trim setting I've got? Because I can't see anywhere that gives any indication of what trim setting you've got. You can never see where it was. But that's not registering either. But I don't know if that's a bug with the whether that's just a bug with everything else that's going on with Microsoft at the minute. Because when I'm pressing the buttons, they aren't registering. And as well, usually when you change it, kind of puts the buttons that you've got, but there is literally nothing to there's nothing anywhere that shows any type of trim setting, is there? Which is very, very weird. Maintain 80 knots. Do hear a click, but I don't know what that click's for. It's hard to know what's actually working and what's not at the minute. Oh, that's turning the power on and off. It's bizarre. Trim longitudinally. Controls. Search by input. That's rotor brake. Don't want that on that same button. Oh, I need to do one for... I need to have another... I need to have another one of these, don't I, for helicopters? Because that's changing... So you're not gonna... Well, I suppose you do have parking brakes on heli. If they've got wheels. But you can't have both. Search by input. Auto start engine. So that should be Control and E. What? Oh. That's on keyboard. We can get rid of that. Get rid of that as well. Back. Save. Also won't be turning the engine off.
Here we are. Let's try some turns now. You see the river is
Still
turning
doesn't
right.
work.
Try to fly above the river and turn right together with its curve.
Can't hear anything now. It's not switching anything off. Slow down too much. It's really hard keeping at 80. Doing the turns.
There you are.
Okay, I've lost me, lost the turns. You know, the tail. Which one's that? Which one's that?
Now make a sharp left turn following.
Settings. Which one's is that the? Oh my god. Which is the one that spins it round? Is that cyclic left and right? No. But it's there. Tell rotor axis. Is it tell rotor axis? Back. Save.
The river line. But this time try
Aha,
to make the turn
there's that one.
coordinated. Don't forget to use pedals to avoid any slip and skid, just like in airplanes.
Yeah.
Now you see how little pressure on the controls you need to control a helicopter. Let's do something you never do in airplanes.
Why am I
Let's bring
tipping
our
over to the...
airspeed to 0 knots. Gently pull the cyclic back until you reach 0 knots.
Pulling back.
This is called hovering out of ground effect. Feels interesting for airplane pilots, doesn't it? Keep the cyclic back to maintain 0 knots airspeed. Now try to use your trim to move the neutral position of your cyclic. You can trim the helicopter when you hover, when you climb, or when you are in cruise. This releases the forces on the stick and lets you better feel the controls. Nice. But just when you thought flying helicopters is all easy, I want to
Going
admit
backwards
that
here.
currently I'm helping you stabilize our helicopter. You see, since we slowed down, the airflow over the tail is not enough to counteract the helicopter's rotating tendencies anymore. So I keep pushing the right pedal and adjusting our cyclic a little to stabilize our flight. Let me show you what happens when I stop helping you.
We die. We die.
Okay, I am assisting you again. Don't let these rotating tendencies scare you. It is a fun challenge, and you will master it in no time during our next trainings. As for our today's lesson, I believe a little more practice with maintaining the correct speed would do you good. I would even recommend reviewing your old airplane trainings related to attitude and turns.
Oh my god. Well, it's got some of the controls sorted out. Need about 1,000 buttons to. Oh god. That's so bad. It's collective training. Taking off to a hover, changing hovering altitude, landing from a hover. Easy. Do this one and I'll finish, because Formula One's on in about 6 hours, so I'll try and get some sleep.
Welcome to our first hovering lesson. To hover in ground effect means to maintain a constant position a few feet above the ground. It is not as easy as it sounds. In fact, hovering a helicopter is challenging. A bit like trying to pat your head and rub your stomach at the same time.
Okay.
A helicopter has 3 highly sensitive controls, but at first I will be giving you only one control at a time to handle. Your first control to master will be the collective lever. Remember, it is located on the left side of your seat. The collective controls your height above the ground. We will use it to take off to a hover. When you raise the collective control, the pitch angles of the main rotor blades increase. This increases lift, and the helicopter climbs. When you lower the collective, pitch angles decrease. This decreases lift, so the helicopter descends. Easy,
Okay.
right? Another
Easy.
thing we will need today is the EPM, which stands for Electronic Pilot Monitor. You might remember it from our previous lesson. Today you will learn monitoring power percentage with a multiple limit indicator.
This one.
The most important thing to remember about power indications is to never go over 100%. You can read more about that subject in the briefing notes. Okay, enough lecturing. Time to fly. Before taking off, always check that all gauges are green and that we have enough fuel. As you
Green.
can see, the tank is half full.
Fuel.
This is more than enough for our training. Now look left. and
Carburetor
right to make sure we don't have
temperature's
people
not green.
or vehicles approaching.
Hello? No. Hello? Don't like that forcing you to have to use Shift K. This is an extra step. Now what? We go?
You have collective control now. Slowly raise it to the point where we become light on skids. This will be around 65% of available power.
65%.
First, you won't see any reaction to your movement, but power will catch up soon.
Power.
Now move the collective just a little more to get to 2 feet altitude hover. And don't mind us moving laterally. Today I will take care of that. There you are. Keep hovering at 2 feet now. You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend. You see, since we are hovering so low, the altimeter will be not useful. Judge your altitude just by looking outside. You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend. 2 feet is approximately 1/3 of the length of the Cabri skid. You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend.
Can't do it any more lower. That's like 65%. I can't go any lower. That's literally gonna... $64. It's on the ground. Maintain altitude. swear, these tutorials are like... You're telling me that is not 2 feet? I don't know what else he expects me to do.
You're higher than 2 feet now.
What?
Lower the collective a bit to descend. You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend.
That was well above 2 feet when that went green.
You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend. You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend. You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend.
Something tells me they've kind of gone a bit too extreme with the
You are higher than 8 feet now. Lower the collective a little to descend.
It's a helicopter, it's gonna go up and down. It's like there's not a breath of wind.
Remember, the main trick of the hovering challenge is to move the controls as gently as possible.
Yeah, but that's ridiculous.
Keep hovering at 2 feet now. When you find a proper collective position, you don't need to keep adjusting it, given that we are not moving and there is no wind like today. Look around and memorize how 2 feet of altitude looks. You see, since we are hovering so low, the altimeter will be not useful. Judge your altitude just by looking outside. Also, look at the power indications and memorize the number. 2 feet is approximately 1/3 of the length of the Cabri skid.
69%.
This is the amount of power required for hovering in ground effect, and it depends on lots of factors such as our weight and the weather. But you may find it useful to remember this number for our training today.
Get your tissue.
Now let's see how little you should increase power to hover at 8 feet altitude. Gently raise the collective just enough to get to 8 feet altitude and stop there.
No.
Great. You are getting more and more confident.
God,
with
first
collective
try.
control. Keep hovering at 8 feet while I am talking. Look around and try to remember how 8 feet altitude looks like. It is an important altitude. You should avoid climbing higher when you hover in ground proximity. We'll talk about it more in our later trainings, but for now, just remember, if your engine quits when you are higher than 8 feet and you don't have enough airspeed, you won't be able to land safely. So whenever you hover stationary in
72.
ground proximity or hover taxi, stay below 8 feet and you will be safe. Now let's go back to a 2-foot hover. Still remember which power indications to aim for?
Was it 67?
There you are. I can see that
So
now
now-
you understand sensitivity and inertia of the collective lever much better.
It's really
Our last
sensitive.
objective for this training session is landing from a hover. Remember to always stabilize your hover at 2 feet altitude before touching the ground.
Your tissue. Oh god, I'm gonna die.
Now, very gently lower the collective control until you find yourself firmly on the ground. Remember to always stabilize your hover at 2 feet altitude before touching the ground.
69, 68, 7, 6, 5.
Congratulations. You just did your first landing from a hover. I think a little more practice with the collective will do you good.
Well, obviously. Soft landing, 100. God, so harsh. What's the next one? Anti-torque pedals. It's only 6 minutes with that one.
Welcome to the second part of our
What's this
hovering
one
training
about?
series. This time you will get familiar with anti-door pedals. I will be helping you at first, but by the end of this training session, you will be in full control over our heading. Let's start with taking off to a hover. You already know how to do that. Before raising
67.
collective, always check that all gauges are green, we have enough fuel, and there are no obstacles nearby.
Right. Look around. That doesn't register because that's a pain in the butt.
All good. You have collective control now. Gently raise it. Get light on the skids first, and only then take off to a 2-foot hover.
Right, give me 1 second. Oops. Give me 1 second. I just need to go blow those. Be right back. Right. Let's do this. So 2 feet. So that's 67. Power. 45, 50, 53, 62. Four, 5, 6,
Here
7.
you go. It is nice to see you are getting more and more confident with collective control. Stabilize your hover at 2 feet altitude.
Yeah.
Here you go. It is nice to see you are getting more and more confident with collective control. Let's move on to the anti-torque pedals now. Stabilize your hover at 2 feet altitude. Look, they're located in the same position as the rudder pedals in airplanes.
Okay.
They also serve similar purpose, which is controlling the direction where the nose of the aircraft points. Only that in helicopters it happens due to increasing or reducing the thrust produced by the tail rotor. Try to gently apply pedals one after the other, and you will see how the nose yaws in the direction of the applied pedal. Easy, isn't it? Now try to turn toward the helicopter parking on your right-hand side. Apply the right pedal to start the turn, and the left one to stop at the required heading.
Turning.
Pretty good. When making pivoting turns, try to make one smooth movement, and then stop exactly at the desired heading. Now
Okay.
turn 90 degrees left, back to our original heading toward the runway and away from the hangars.
Turning. What's it? What are you trying to...
Easy, right? Keep in mind that we use pedals to make turns like that only when hovering. We call it pedal turn. In cruise, we change the direction of flight using the cyclic stick, while pedals are used only for adjusting the side slip angle, like in airplanes. By the way, remember our briefing? There is a torque effect caused by our rotor rotating clockwise, and we use pedals to eliminate this rotating tendency. Until now, I was assisting you with the anti-torque control, so you would be able to try changing heading without additional stress of fighting the torque. It is time for you to have full pedal control. On the count of 3, I will stop assisting you with anti-torque. Remember, our rotor rotates clockwise, which means the torque effect will immediately turn our nose left. You will have to press the right pedal to counteract that torque. Ready? You'll be given full pedal control in 3, 2, 1, now. Try to maintain our original heading toward the runway. It is all a matter of finding a good position for the pedals, which counteracts the torque.
Okay. Got it there.
You're doing good. Now let's turn 90 degrees left, toward the edge of the trees on the left-hand side. Yes, the helicopter will try to turn there itself, as soon as you ease your right pedal pressure.
Oh.
With small, gentle pedals movements, try to keep our nose heading toward the edge of the trees. Good. You are getting better and better.
Perfect.
Let's now slowly turn right all the way to the helicopter parking, which is behind our back now.
Spinny, spinny. Got that one.
Now,
Nice.
let's turn 90 degrees left, back to our original heading toward the runway. Super. Now you know how to change
Super.
and maintain heading with anti-torque pedals, as well as how to counteract the torque. I will now let you perform a little more advanced landing than last time. You will have control of both collective and pedals in the same time. First,
Okay.
fully stabilize your hover at 2 feet altitude. Carefully maintain your heading toward the runway. Always make sure you don't have any movement or yawing before you touch the ground. Now, gently lower the collective control until you find yourself firmly on the ground. First, fully stabilize your hover at 2 feet altitude. Carefully maintain your heading toward the runway. Always make sure you don't have any movement or yawing before you touch the ground.
Alright. Shut up. Oh. Oh. Come on. Oh god.
Congratulations. You landed while having full control of pedals and collective. Way to go.
I messed that up completely
Today,
for some
you
reason.
mastered anti-door pedals. See you in our next training session dedicated to cyclic control.
Well, not too bad. Got A for that. Nice. How many's left on this one? Basic maneuvers are rubbish. God, there's actually... Okay, there's actually quite a lot. There's actually quite a lot there. I suppose it's a CPL, isn't it? So... Okay. We'll probably carry on with that tomorrow, actually. I don't think we need to do any more missions. It's just first flights. Ferry flight. Okay. Right, anyway. Time is 20 past 1. Oh, my nose is starting to play up with me, so I'm going to keep sniffing. I'm going to take some paracetamol or something. Drug myself. And hopefully it doesn't turn into anything major. It shouldn't do. I think it's just chills. Just chills. But yeah, no, it's it's fun. The problem is the tutorials are kind of wacky as hell. People have said it before. The tutorials don't match what the game is actually wanting you to do. Now, the chances are they probably designed those tutorials probably through some type of algorithm or something to create it. I don't see someone sitting down and handcrafting each of these. Well, they should do those tutorial ones, actually. Someone should have sat down and do it, but yeah, they're just weird. I don't know. It's just one of those things on the long list of things that's obviously wrong with 2024, but generally, yes, you can kind of fly in it. You can do things in it. For the most part, 80% of the time, I would say you can achieve what you're meant to achieve without too many hassles. Usually a restart of the mission fixes things, I've found, but not all the time. But yeah, we'll see what patches they push out over the next week or so. But I think it's going to take about 2-3 months for them to get past this big hurdle that they've made for themselves. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. But I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you very much for popping through. The followers as well. Appreciate that. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Say the Formula 1 is on in about 5.5-6 hours. I'm not sure if it starts at 6 a.m. or whether it starts at 7. Hopefully it starts at 7. Let's get a bit of a lie-in. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. But for now, good night and speak to you soon. Doodaloo.